The movie begins with Emma, an intelligent and disciplined girl waking up to her daily routine. She is meticulous in planning her day and she dresses up for school. On the other hand, Dean is very reserved, except for being the son of a very wealthy man. He has no friends at school and he barely speaks with anyone. He wakes up and goes to play a video game. He reluctantly dresses for school after his father tells him to do so. At school, Emma talks to her friend Lizzie, while a popular guy, Stephen, comes to greet Emma. Lizzie is shocked at what she saw, and she teases Emma before they head to class. Later in class, the teacher, Mrs. Christensen, reminds the students of the trip that they are going on. Dean also arrives on time just after Emma. While their teacher discusses the trip, Lizzie whispers to Emma, speculating that Dean's father likely secured his spot on the student list. Later in the dining hall, Lizzie continues to tease Emma with the other friends about shipping her with Stephen. The girls then notice Dean sitting alone and cutting an apple with a big knife, which the teacher collects from him and asks him to follow her to the principal's office. The following day, all the students prepare for the trip. Emma appreciates her parents for sponsoring her on the trip, while Dean blames his father for forcing him to attend the vacation. His father begs him that he should, at least for the first time in his life, do something for other people, so he decides to go. Before entering the bus, Stephen tries to flirt with Emma, but she ignores him. They arrive at their destination and their teacher allows them to play around for the day before they come for dinner. They go to swim, and while they swim, Emma notices Dean looking at her from afar, but Stephen comes to carry her into the water. She returns to her room and speaks to her parents. One of her friends came inside the room to announce that she heard there would be a party in one of the natives' boats and Stephen will be organizing the party. Emma is not interested in going initially, but after her friends convince her, she eventually agrees. On the boat, while Emma is not too excited about the party, she sees Stephen kissing another girl, which turns her off and she walks away. Dean asks her if Stephen is her new boyfriend and she tells him it isn't his business. Suddenly, the police arrive and they all try to dispose of their drugs and escape. In the process, Emma falls into the water. Fortunately, Dean notices and he jumps after her. He takes her into the boat beside the ship and he cuts off the rope connecting the boat and the ship so the police won't raid them. Emma wonders how they will leave as she sees that the ship is leaving. They struggle to catch up with the ship, but a heavy storm starts and they must hide in the boat. The following morning, the students' trip ends because of their disobedience and the party. As they are about to leave, Lizzie reports that Emma is missing. During the roll call, they also find out Dean is missing. They call the police and alert the parents immediately. Dean and Emma wake up and find out Dean's phone is soaked, and Emma's phone doesn't have a signal. While they think of what to do, Emma sees an island and she suggests they paddle there. They arrive at the island, and Dean brings along a gun before they start exploring the place. Dean's dad, Jack, receives a call that his son is missing. He goes to the school where he meets Emma's mom, too. The parents get angry at the school for not protecting their kids, and they ask when the next plane going to Trinidad will be leaving so they can board and find their kids themselves. They plan on taking the plane that night. Meanwhile, the kids walk around the forest until they find a beautiful waterfall. Dean suggests Emma to take a picture there, but she refuses. He tries to remind her that this is a unique adventure, urging her to enjoy it while it lasts, but she walks away. Then they continue to explore the island and find themselves on top of the cliff, but no one is there. They decide to go back and Dean discovers a cave and suggests that they can stay there. He asks for Emma's phone so that he can use it as a torch, but soon gets attacked by a group of bats. They eventually make their way to the beach only to find their boat missing with a life jacket left. Therefore, Dean suggests they build a boat for themselves. The sun eventually sets and Dean takes his time to enjoy the beautiful view while not listening to what Emma is saying. Emma then finds some food in her bag and decides to share it with Dean. Meanwhile, their parents are seen at the airport waiting for their flight impatiently. Emma asks Dean why he calls her prom queen, and he says it's because she's perfect. She hears some strange noise, but Dean asks her not to consider it, and when he notices she's cold, he gives her his shirt. They too eventually fall asleep. The next morning, Dean wakes up, but he doesn't see Emma around. Turns out she is drawing an SOS on the beach to get help, while he decides to go for a swim. Meanwhile, their parents get even more worried as there seems to be no progress from the police in the search. Emma is then seen collecting water and she hears a strange sound, but she sees nothing. They decide to build a shelter and Emma accidentally cuts her hand. Dean attends to her and they decide to take a break and start chatting. While Dean's father is seen to have a private agreement with the police to expedite their search, Emma's parents are seen updating her sister on the search progress. Meanwhile, Emma and Dean slowly get used to staying on the island. They feed on the fruits they find and continue building their shelter. After a long day, they decide to reward themselves by going for a swim. Dean eventually gets tired and he takes a nap. Emma decides to sleep beside him while Dean holds her back, but she doesn't resist. The following day, Emma has her bath in the water and Dean comes to ask for sunscreen. She asks him to check her bag, but he says it isn't there, which makes her more suspicious than there is someone taking their property there. After days of searching, the police shift from rescue to recovery due to low chances of survival. Emma's dad also returns home to stay with her sister while her mother remains, and Jack rents a helicopter to search from the air. Emma starts missing her family. She confides in Dean, who consoles her, while they also found a skeleton, and Emma gets very scared. He goes nearer to her to console her, and they share their first kiss. The kiss leads to other intimacy, and they eventually consummate their affair with intercourse. The next morning, Emma finds Dean digging a hole to bury the skeleton, and he starts acting abnormally. She tries to understand what is wrong, but she falls, and he treats her. He explains he is responsible for his mother's death in a car accident while driving him from soccer practice. They apologize to each other and keep making plans to find help. Some days later, they are seen having fun on a rainy day and getting intimate. After a month later, the police call the search off, and their friends are seen upset. Emma's mother tries to find help from other corners, but she fails, and Jack tells her they should let go, so she returns home. The kids enjoy themselves on the island, and several times they have sweet intercourse with each other. She tells him how he is different in school and that she likes him. He confesses that he likes her too. She then confesses that it's her first time having intercourse and suggests that they should practice it more. Betty's got no complaints for that. That day, they hear a helicopter passing by, and they run to find the flare gun so they can find help. But the gun is missing. Emma gets angry that they have lost their only opportunity to get back home, but Dean reassures her that they are doing great there too. The following day, they hear the noise again, and this time around, Dean insists that he will find whatever is causing the noise and deal with it. He runs into the forest and sees it's a wild animal. He runs after it, and Emma tries to catch up with him. When she eventually catches up, he has killed the animal, and he is standing with blood on his body. In the next scene, they clean themselves up by the waterfall, and they have several intimate moments with each other. Their intimate relationship has gotten so much closer, and they share plans about having kids someday. After that, they decide to lie under the tree and talk about what other people might be doing now. Suddenly, their stolen items start falling on them, and they see a monkey. They realize it was the monkey who took their gun. Emma uses a banana to trade it for the gun, and she fires it immediately. Dean is then seen shocked at her desperate reaction, as he had thought she enjoyed living on the island with him. That day, they suddenly hear another plane noise. They immediately run towards the beach and fire the gun to get the pilot's attention. They are finally rescued and welcomed by their family and friends at the airport. That night, Dean tries to speak with Emma by her window, and when he tries to kiss her, she stops him. She invites him to the homecoming her parents organized, but he was alone. Emma returns to her popular status in school, while Dean remains a semi-outcast, always watching her from a distance, but she ignores him. Emma dresses for the prom with her sister, and after her sister meets with another boy, she feels left out. Meanwhile, at home, Dean's father reminds him to go to the prom. Lizzie then comes to talk to Emma, and they notice Dean standing outside the window in the rain. Lizzie advises Emma to go to him. They kiss, reconcile, and dance passionately in the rain, and the movie ends. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Leave a like to help the channel out. Also, leave a comment if you'd like us to recap your favorite movie. Thanks for watching.